3, 2, 1, go!
Yep, I put Hu Tao, Xingqiu, and Chongyun in Friday Night Funkin'. This mod is available for you to play, and I will explain how you can download it towards the end of this video. I can't stop you from skipping ahead, the timestamp is there for your convenience, but I do want to talk about how I did this because I think it's pretty interesting. So if you're not familiar with Friday Night Funkin', it's a simple rhythm game formatted like a rap battle where you and the computer controlled opponent take turns hitting the arrows. It was created by Ninja Muffin 99 and a very talented team, and it is open source, meaning anyone can download the original files and edit them to make mods. Because of the game's rapidly growing popularity, there are already a few mods for the game with Genshin Impact inspiration, but none of them take advantage of the fact that canonically, Hu Tao and Xingqiu have had rap battles. So I was really impressed when I saw this image on the Genshin Impact subreddit made by user CogCarl, which places our favorite Leeway characters in the game. I especially liked it because the characters really fit the original art style of the game, and since they stated they had no intention of creating a full mod, I figured when I decided to do this that I might as well ask for the assets and use them as a starting point. So I messaged CogCarl on Reddit and they graciously sent me the original images, so huge thank you to them. I also need to give one last additional shout out to Sonox, who created this Rapper GF mod that CogCarl used as a reference for the Hu Tao design. For the record, I had absolutely no experience modding for this game before I decided to do this, so I pretty much had to learn everything from the ground up. I downloaded the game from its itch.io page and watched YouTube tutorials which told me how to edit the character sprite sheets to replace characters. This works fine for simple recolors and stuff like that, but putting in new animations with dimensions different than the original would be a bit more difficult, so then I dug deeper into YouTube tutorials and learned that I could use Adobe Animate to make my own animations and export them to a unique sprite sheet. Again, I had no prior experience using this program, so learning it took a bit of time. Once I figured out what to do though, the process looks something like this. First, I had to redraw the characters in Adobe Animate. This was for two reasons. One, the original images were regular PNGs and not vectors, meaning that resizing them would lead to a loss in quality. And two, in order to animate the characters, I needed them to be broken down into individual parts that could move independently. This took quite a bit of time. So once I finished doing all the idle animations by their keyframes, I put them in the game files, replacing the old characters, and it came out like this. Oh yeah, I also changed the icons at the bottom, which was a very simple image edit. So the game looks alright here, but I was very bothered by things like the placements of the characters, and I would later come to find out that this was because I was editing a version of the game which was already compiled from the source code, meaning I couldn't edit any of the game's logic that was determined by the code, such as the offsets. So now I went back to YouTube, and after lots of searching, I was blessed with tutorials by Brightfire, who explains how to make edits to the source code downloaded from GitHub, and how to compile it into a game build. This involved lots of downloading of resources and some trial and error. Thankfully, I'm a computer science major with multiple years of coding experience, otherwise this step and the stuff to come would have been an absolute nightmare. So now that I had full freedom to edit anything I wanted, I animated Xingqiu's directional animations and manually adjusted the offsets so it looks like he's standing in place. Now all that was left was Hu Tao's directional animations with a miss for each one and the hey pose. After that, the minimum viable product for my mod was finished. So before we get into downloading, here's something you should know so you have proper expectations of what you are getting. Yes, I swapped the boyfriend character to be Hu Tao instead of Xingqiu because in the character story the scene is based off of Hu Tao wins, so I felt it was more appropriate to make her the protagonist of this game. That's it, nothing more. In the beginning there's this message, but just ignore it by pressing escape. I tried really hard to make a death animation, but I was having a lot of issues, so just don't die? This mod is purely visual. I originally intended to insert a custom song, but that would require a lot more work than I was capable of, so I decided against it. Next, the other levels in the game are playable, but it's not recommended since I didn't change any of the assets in those levels. I also didn't change assets in the menus at all. The first week with Xingqiu is available in free play mode and story mode, but for some reason story mode doesn't list the final song Dad Battle, even though you will still end up playing it. Xingqiu's idle animation is slightly offbeat and it really bothers me, but I have no idea why this happens, so rip. And lastly, you can play this mod, make a video on it, whatever, just be sure to properly credit me since this took many hours of my own free time. Thank you. You can download this game straight from Game Banana, the link will be at the top of the description. All you have to do is download the zip, extract, and run the Funkin application. Then play week 1 in story mode or in free play. So will I continue this project? Probably not, but I guess it depends on what the reception is for this video. If I were to add songs, I would definitely need someone else's help with it, but if I were to only add more visual changes, it would just be a matter of time. Some ideas I have are replacing Skid and Pump with Xiangling and Guoba to complete the friend circle, putting in Xinyan somewhere because she's a musician, replace the mom with Beidou because they have similar color schemes, and replace the background dancers with the Crux ship crew, and lastly include Yanfei because being a rapper is her backup job. Oh yeah, also maybe Barbara. If you're still watching, I just want to say thank you and I hope you enjoy this mod. If you watch my other content, you know that this is very different from anything I've done before, but this side project was just too fun not to share with everyone. So that is everything I have for this video, and as always, thank you for watching.